All right, folks. Let me pop in and let me just address something here, because sometimes everyone thinks that they have it right. So unless you're in my shoe and unless I'm in your shoe, I cannot speak and decide for you, and you cannot speak and decide for me. And when there is a central point, as in this case, this morning I got up, and then after I got up, I noticed it was raining. Well, it was dark outside, so I couldn't see what was going on. I had looked at the weather report and I saw that it was scheduled to rain. But this is what has been happening for the past 2 weeks or more. So it was not as if anything. I didn't know of any tropical depression. I did not know of any hurricane. So for me, it's just normal rainy season, right? So I got up this morning, started my stuff, then it started raining. My daughter usually leaves early. So everything is just set. I'm not the kind of person that waits on when I see rain, I don't want to go out. So I looked online because I was trying to get some information to decide what to do, because I am not sure what the weather is like. So I'm looking to our NEMO and Ministry of Education to decide what is happening in terms of the weather, because I'm not privy to that information. Now, it is not for me to say I'm going to keep home my child just because I saw a rain. If I was to do that this morning, I should have done it yesterday morning as well, because yesterday morning, as soon as my daughter entered the van, it started raining. It rained for a long while. Now, what was I supposed to do? Call her and tell her, don't bother, go, come back? I can't do that because it's not practical, right? Now you have a professional organization. You have a professional organization, right? And you're looking to that organization, not because you cannot make certain decisions, but because the best decision in terms of what is going to happen should come from them, because every part of this country, the weather is affecting us differently. I was able to leave my home with an umbrella, which I normally do. This is not an abnormal morning for me. I was able to leave my home with an umbrella, did not get wet, and catch a van. My daughter was able to get a van to get to school at her normal time, which is after 7. So how is it that you can tell me that I must use my discretion? Now you have a professional entity. And you see, Vincentians don't think. They always like, okay, you have to hold your professional organizations accountable so that you don't have this kind of confusion. And this message this morning is just speaking to how this government and businesses in St. Vincent operate on a whole. We just leave things up to chance. You are the one who has the information that will make a major decision, and you're telling parents to use their discretion. And then you have parents actually agreeing with this. Some people don't even live in St. Vincent, and they're actually agreeing with this without even considering that discretion is an ambiguous term, because it will mean different things for different people based on your location where you're living. Because the rain up in Sandy Bay area, of course, I don't expect anybody to get across that river. So it's easy for them to decide that I'm not going to send my child to school this morning. But where I'm living, the rain just coming steady, not heavy. There's no wind blowing. There's nothing going on. I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to keep my child at home, because I'm not accustomed to keeping her at home just because a rain comes. So if there is information that could tell us that, okay, the weather is expected to be such and such and there is no school today, you have to put it in a way that there is no confusion across the board, because I am not the only parent that sent my child to school this morning. So you can't be there and saying, oh, parents wicked to send their children to school. What you need to do is ask the Ministry of Education and NEMO to have proper communication with each other so that they could pass on valid and pertinent information to us in a timely manner. Because they must consider that some parents are, the country is not big, but neither is it small. And we know that it rains some places while it doesn't rain in other places. So you can't say, oh, some parents send their children to school in this weather like them crazy. Like, listen, I've been making decisions for myself since I'm a teenager. For almost all of my teen years, I did not have the guidance of a mother nor a father. So I've been making decisions for myself. I'm 45 years old today. This a week ago, and I've been able to conduct myself. So you don't come question my ability to make decisions for myself and my children. Don't do it. Have some respect for parents who send their children out to school, because we have a principle that as long as there is able on our part, that we will do it. We're not going to send our children to school if we know there is a hurricane coming, if this wind is strong, and if the condition is unfavorable. But for you to say, oh, that they're not using their discretion, it's just ridiculous, because everybody is seeing this weather differently. For me, it's just an ordinary rain, because yesterday this is how it showered in the morning, and then after that it was sunny. We had nice weather yesterday. I didn't even expect it to turn out that way. So how was I supposed to know, my God, that I will get up this morning? And other parents, are they God, that they will just get up this morning and know not to send their children to school for a puny rain? Maybe they're in an area where they're not experiencing any serious weather conditions, just the normal rain, and we're going to take it as normal. Because let me tell you something, there are some of us, we are so disciplined. We don't let rain keep us home from our jobs, now what we have to do. I was never a person to let rain keep me home from my work. When I'm working, I'm out to work, whether rain come or shine. If I'm going to school, as long as I can get out, I'm going to school. So I instead of condemning parents who sent out their children to school and chastising parents and saying, oh, use your discretion. Are you hearing how ridiculous you sound? Ask the ministry to give clear communication. We know that it's hard to detect the weather conditions, and that is why some of us actually sent our children to school. So it's just the same as how ministry is confused. That is how we are too, because we don't know what the weather is going to show up like. So if the ministry is in collaboration with the weather department and NEMO, it's for the ministry to say, okay, this is the thing, this is how it's going to look throughout the day. Let's just not have school today, or let us have school today. Because what you're having is that you have some parents sending their children out very early, and some parents keeping their children home based on where their location, they live, and whatever is going on. So you need to demand, instead of condemning parents, you need to demand clear communication. Let not the ministry say, okay, use your discretion in sending your children to school. This is supposed to be unacceptable. Instead of condemning us as parents and saying why you send your child to school, ask your ministries to have proper communication so that we don't find ourselves in this situation. That is what you need to do. I am so sick and tired, and we wonder why this country is in the way, because nobody wants to hold those who are accountable. Hold them accountable, because what you have in here is confusion. You cannot tell me that, oh, I see rain coming. Where I'm looking here, the rain was not a problem to me in getting out. It wasn't a problem. And if I have to see rain coming every day like this, and I would stay home regularly, because where I am living, it's a rain-prone area. Rain comes here very frequently, more than other areas. Sometimes it's not even raining elsewhere. So you can't just tell you to say use your discretion. You must say decide. with your information what it is going to be, so that you do not have this problem happening. People don't understand this. They just see it as from their side alone. But Tamara Digras, what does it mean? What does it mean for weather not looking good? Because the weather was not looking good for many days this week. What does it mean? That is what I'm trying to say. Now, you as a parent, you could decide that, but for me, I don't know what it means to weather not looking good with an ordinary rainy day like this, because all I am seeing is just rain. There's no wind, there's no strong wind where I'm at, but maybe somewhere else has strong wind. So this is why there are some of us in this country who expect and who should always demand, even when they don't do it, to demand that these ministries, these organizations do not keep repeating these mistakes. You have privy to the weather conditions, and just like us, it is iffy, but you have the ultimate authority to say whether you're closing schools, whether who want to keep their children home or not, that's their business. But you decide, is school going to keep or not? Don't tell me to use my discretion, because I am seeing the weather from my area in a different light than somebody else. My perspectives on getting out in rain is different than somebody else, because as I said, if I am to wait and rain to stop coming for me to send my child to school, my child will not be going to school for how many weeks now? And we know that it's been raining, and then when you look, the sun shining brightly. So it is unfair to tell parents that they're wicked, or they're not using their discretion and all of that. It's unfair to even ask us to use our discretion, and barring that it's not a volcanic eruption, it's not a hurricane, it's not a tsunami, it's not any one of those events. It's unfair to ask and to chastise parents who just sees this. Just see this as an ordinary day, rainy day, because that's what I see. When I look out there, I see an ordinary rainy day. So people need to respect that. And that is why we will never get accountability from those in thing. And I'm not getting personal here, because for me, this is something where when you see people narrow-minded, you have to speak. Because what I am seeing is just narrow-mindedness. Even if I did not send my child to school this morning, I was not going to say, oh, why other people send their children to school, because I do not know the weather conditions in their part. Some of you don't even live in SVG. Some of you don't even live in this country. Yet you will be on social media telling us how to think. I don't need anyone to tell me how to think. I don't need anyone to tell me how to think. I've been on my own since I was a teenager. And I've survived this long, and not just survived, I've thrived. More than some of you who had parents who guiding you and telling and protecting you and giving you everything you need. So don't come tell me about how and whatever. Don't tell me that. Respect people for the decisions they make. It's not a tsunami out there. It's not a hurricane. It's not a volcanic eruption. It is an ordinary rainy day. People are going to work. So what about school? It's an ordinary rainy day. There's nothing happening out there for me to say, okay, I'm going to keep home my child. So what we need is clear communication. Demand clear communication. The Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, in collaboration with NEMO. And if it's a hurricane, the Ministry of National Security, all of these ministries, including health, depending on what it is, will come together and make certain decisions. Now, for this, I expect that NEMO and Ministry of Education would have been in collaboration. So what we need is for you to look at the weather, because I'm not a weather woman. I'm just basically going by what I see. I see 60% chance of rain, but I've seen days where there's 80% chances of rain, and I didn't even see that 80%. I didn't even see any rain. So am I supposed to be home here scratching my head? I sent my child to school. We didn't get wet. We walk out of here dry. I just put her on and sent her to school. She was in school before the announcement came out, and there are other children in these classes too. So I am saying, be clear about your communication. Have some respect for us. And those of you who know it all, go right ahead and know it all. But there are some of us who our perspective is different. So respect that. Because I, for one, I don't let rain stop my flow. I want to go to town right now and I can get out of here. I do not let rain stop my flow. If the wind is blowing strong, I know that I can't take her out in the strong wind. But this is an ordinary day. This is an ordinary day in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ordinary rainy day. So why is it that you're telling me that I should use my discretion? Why? If you decide to close school because you think that it's going to rain throughout the day, then just communicate that clearly. Schools are closed today, and communicate it early, because some of us, our children go to school very early. We don't have them late to school because they are coming from far. I mean, and some of these people don't even live in St. Vincent. It's just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. They live where they live. They don't know what condition is on my side, but they come in and talking about use discretion. What does that mean? It's ambiguous. Because my discretion was to send my child to school this morning. What, you have a problem with that? That was my discretion based on the information available to me. It was just when I looked outside, it was just an ordinary rainy day, just like yesterday morning when the big long shower came and I had to walk all the way up in it after sending my child out. Yet the sun shone for the rest of the day. Well, some people will just, if they see plenty rain, they don't send their children to school. Some people will send their children. Can the child get out to go to school? So that is why I'm saying it's ambiguous. You don't tell parents to decide whether or not to send their children to school. You make that decision based on the information available to you, because the weather is not the same all over St. Vincent. It might be raining all over, but the same level of rain is not coming in St. Vincent, and that is where I want our people to start thinking wide. Don't just think narrow-minded on your situation. Think overall, and when you see the different perspectives coming out here, you realize that discretion is a problem. You realize that telling parents to use their discretion is a problem. That, okay, if you're so concerned about the weather, you just let us know, okay, school is closed today. And then you could implement the online classes or whatever. But if you have everybody, some people in school, some people at home, how are you going to teach them online? Some people are calling for online classes today. How is it going to happen when the government when the Ministry of Education never announced that, NEMO never announced that schools were definitely closed? So some children are in class. How are you going to get, are you going to get that online class? You see the confusion? You see the confusion? People need to think. People need to think. It's not you alone in this. So respect other people. They made the best decision that was available to them. And if they send their children to school, whether they send them to school or keep them home, that is their best decision. It's the same like how you keep the child home and it's your best decision. It's the same like how I said, if I had sent my child in a windy area, I sent her out. It went snow falling, volcanic eruption, and all them kind of madness. Then you could question my reasoning, and then you say probably I'm insane. But I'm seeing an ordinary rainy day out there. There's nothing for me to be concerned about at this time. Even I done why, and that is why I check just to be sure. Let me see what the thing, because I know that ministry will have more information than I do. Because that's the entity, that is the organization. So even when I'm sending my child to school, I will check in to see. And this is not the first time. This is since it's rainy season started. This is not the first time I've checked in online to see what the ministry is saying, because I am not privy to all these weather stuff. I don't know what is happening in different parts of the country. I don't know that. I don't know that. So don't leave this thing. Just make that decision and say, okay, keep them home and send them. Oh, good morning, Marvin. Bob, how are you? I'm trying to see the comments, but for some reason they're just flying by fast. So I am not seeing. Yes, well, the communication is a problem. The communication is a problem, and they need to be decisive. You know? I don't know. Okay, Daffodil, good that you didn't send your children to school, because at the end of the day, that's your decision at the time, based on your feelings about your situation, and I respect that. I respect that. I just wish that people could see, and me doing this live is not to condemn anybody, but I am doing this because I really need to see people start holding the organizations accountable. You understand? So that they communicate clearly to us. Because I'm sure if there was a volcanic eruption or any of these things, parents were not going to send their children to school. So don't question our ability, because we are the ones taking care of our children every day. Sometimes we don't do it as 100% as perfect, but we are the parents of these children. Majority of us, we take care of our children every day. We don't get assistance. Many of us are single parents, and we do it. So don't question our judgment, because none of us are going to really put our children in danger. None of us. So definitely saying since Friday morning, she was looking to know what's going on, being switching from one radio station to the next. So yes, I send my kids to school now. No, where parents has already sent their kids. Yeah, you know, I can't the slightest thing in across. They need to communicate clearly, and we need to hold them accountable for that. I am sorry, I'm not going to close my mouth this morning just to please some people. People need to understand that just because you made a decision that turned out right doesn't mean that everybody else is the same. So Richard says it's true, sometimes some areas in SVG would be dry and the other area would experience heavy rainfall. So it must be communicated clearly for persons to know what to do. Children travel with specific vans, and what is the van driver to do? Exactly. Well, that is it. This is it. Good morning, Doug Howard. They can say confusion. I'm demanding clear communication from the Ministry of Education and NEMO. I'm demanding clear communication from them. I don't ever want to have to make thing with ordinary rainy days. If there's a hurricane, a tropical depression, a tropical storm, I will keep my child home. But on ordinary rainy days, I am not going to be questioned about my sanity regarding my decision to send my child to school on an ordinary rainy day. I'm not going to be questioned. I would refuse for anybody to even question my sanity for sending my child to school on an ordinary rainy day. Because let me tell you something, every one of us here who have children could think back to days when we sent our children to school on ordinary rainy days, and sometimes even worse than today. Content Solar, Chico Brown, NEMO, Ministry of Education, etc. Full lad. Yeah, they need to be more prompt and decisive. So they look at the weather, they're not too sure, but they have to make a decision. But it shouldn't be use your discretion, because it creates confusion, as in some children show up to school, some don't, and then you can't even use the online forum because all the students are not in the same place. And I will give you a typical example of how this worked out well. Now my daughter does evening classes on some days, and one of the days it was raining a bit, and the teacher told them that they will have online classes. That was an excellent decision. The teacher did not say she's not sure, she might. She said, we will have it online. So all the students knew to get home and to be in front of their computers at 5 p.m. for the evening class. She even gave them an hour time to get home, which was magic, because just as my daughter sat down, it was 5 o'clock. So these are the things that you must communicate clearly. You're in a position of decision making, and so you have to examine all the evidence. And if you look to it, you have to remember, okay, the weather is not the same all over St. Vincent. Some students go to school earlier than others, right? And so you look at the weather conditions and you say, you know what happened? Let me just make this decision. If the sun wants to come out later, let it come out. At least I would have tried my best. So you come on air, not 7 o'clock. You come on air at 6 o'clock, 6:30, the latest, and some students might already be on their way, but at least, granted that, you know, you got the information later, whatever the case is. And so you come on air promptly and you communicate it. There is no school today. Do that promptly for us, please. We are begging you. Some of us are begging you. Some people are okay with deciding for themselves, because they do that normally every day. Some people, least little rain and they keep home their children. Least little rain. Some people, they saw in their area that it didn't look good and they decide to come out, and that's fine too. But there are some of us, we didn't see anything wrong with today. Even though we had heavy showers, this is not the first heavy shower. The other day we had 3 days of heavy showers. The other day 3 days of heavy shower. We didn't have a school break. We didn't have nobody called in and said school. So we don't know that. You have to decide. No, well, and as far as personal risk, well, I decide on the safety of the kids. Well, as far as I'm concerned, my child is not in danger. So that you see, I'm trying to get a point over to you, and you're not listening. My child, I do not deem my child in danger, and I did not deem her in danger this morning when I sent her to school. So like, that's what I am saying. That if the ministry thinks that the weather conditions are not favorable for having a class day, the ministry needs to say that we're not going to a party. We're not going to a party where some of us want to show up and some don't want to show up. This is not a party. Get it in your head. It's not a party we are going to. This is an organization, a professional organization. My child was not in danger. I've raised two children. I'm 45 years old. I had my first child at 19. And I've raised two children. I've even raised myself. So I know when my child's life is in danger. At any time, if at any point that I deem her to be in danger, I will act in her best interest. But I'm saying that we send our children to school only to hear afterwards that we must decide yes or no. And then when you look, there's confusion with classes and all of these things. That's what I'm saying. I don't see what's hard in that to understand. Some people probably saw their child in danger this morning and they kept them home and fine. I'm not condemning them, but I didn't see my child was in any danger. So I made that decision to send my child to school. She was not in any danger. That's what I'm trying to get. People don't even, sometimes you're not listening in, because this is why it creates confusion, and you're saying this, but when you look, you have half of the classes in school, half home. And that's proving my point. I don't know that I have to express this any more than I've expressed it. So definitely saying Barbados, all of them are expert bulletin to the thing. So that is it. So be specific. Be specific. When I'm dealing with people with anything concerning decisions for them to make, I am specific. I expect specific information. If some of you expect that you could leave it up to all you, then fine. But I'm not sending my child to a party, not some kind of thing. I'm sending my child to a professional organization. So I'm asking for professionalism. Is that wrong? Is that wrong to ask for professionalism? I just hate this nonsense, man. We need to do better. And until everybody sees the problem for what it is and stop, trying to defend this nonsense, we're not going to get anywhere, because this is what we're going to have all the time. Good morning, Esther, Natalie, Olivier. That's what we're going to get. I'm so tired of this nonsense. Communicate to us. And I don't care who want to curse. I really don't care, because this is how I feel, and not me alone, because I've spoken to other parents this morning who felt the same way. And this has nothing to do with no politics or whatever. And I know some of you like to say, oh, well, she's always with her politics, blah, 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 blah. This is not about politics, because I can't be bothered. It's neither here nor there for me, whoever is in power in this country most of the time. Because I don't eat bread from here. My bread doesn't come from here. I don't get money here from here. I haven't been employed in this country for how donkey years, whatever. So I really don't, I can't be bothered sometimes, but I'm saying that these are the things that we have to demand. We need to have accountability, and that is why we always have to get people doing us and in government just disrespecting us and just throwing anything our way, because we just settle for these nonsense. Even with my child, I communicate clearly. I don't tell her if you want to or if not. I tell her definite answer. I said, if things change, I will call you, I will let you know. That's how I communicate with my child. Or anybody for that matter. I give specific information that they could make a decision. So this is what we have to do. Give specific information so that everybody you have people, and I don't know why people will argue concerning this and whatever, because at the end of the day, you kept home your child, another send the child to school. I'm sure that my child is not the only child in any school right now. So it's showing exactly, it's proving a point what I'm saying, that this creates confusion. And you can't say, oh, is the best decision available to them. Their best decision was to send their children to school because they did not see the rain outside as a problem. They were able to use an umbrella, to a jacket or whatever, and get outside, which is what we do on an ordinary rainy day. Another parent might keep their child, might have kept their child home because they did not have any ride, or maybe they don't have any umbrella to get out, or any jackets. These are other things might have had other parents keeping home their children. We don't know. Well, this is it. This is it. No accountability. I'm just so tired. I can't even see all the comments on here. Thank you, Daffodil. No, man, it's just nonsense. I want the ministry to communicate clearly to us. Communicate for those of us who have the ability to make decisions for our children, because we retarded, like myself. I'm asking the ministry. Never mind the smart ones who think then without thing, those who condemning those who didn't do like they did. Never mind that. Some of us want the ministry to say yes, there is school, or no, because I could have saved $4 today or even more, because I may need to go for my child depending on what is happening. I could have saved $4 today. I ain't glad for pay $4 for her to go only to hear that school is not keeping. I ain't glad for that. You think I have money to waste to give away? I ain't glad for that. Communicate to us clearly. Be professional about it. Decisive. Even if you not get it right, some people are going to criticize, but the fact is you cannot tell me to use my discretion, because my discretion and somebody else's discretion is different. It's based on what we're seeing and our whole perspective on rainy days. Because some people, it's little rain, them just ready for lie down in a bed and don't want to go walk, and do we have that kind of thing. Some people are like that. Least little rain, but I've never been brought up like that. I've been the kind of person that no matter the rain, I'm finding myself to my workplace. Well, Alan Leach, you are right. The advisor is a disclaimer, so they're taking the responsibility off of themselves. That is what this is saying. But I am a kind of parent, any good lawyer will argue what I am saying here. Because my child was already in school when that announcement was made. And are already on the way. So they cannot absolve themselves of any responsibility if something happens to my child. I will not allow it. They are washing their hands of the situation. Send your child to school if you want, or keep them home if you want. This is like you're going to a party, you know, like about the party or something, or you're going carnival. Not even carnival, I go down in rain. Yes? When I think, if they get harm on their way to school, it's the parents' fault. That if they miss lessons taught that day, it's also the parents' fault. You see the kind of thing? The ministry is playing hide and cook, but that is true. Because yesterday they would have known what the weather was going to be today. I saw 60%, I think it was 60% chances of rain. But my daughter came home and she said, Mom, we have three exits today. We have 3 tests today. Tomorrow, which was yesterday, she said that we have 3 tests tomorrow. They would have seen the same weather that I saw. The rain did not come all night. It's this morning I heard the rain outside. It did not come all night this morning when I get up, but this is not the first morning I'm getting up and showers washing down the place. This is not the first morning. So these are the things we have to consider and have some respect. Hey, sorry about that, Lord. My thing is in a mess there. Never mind my kitchen area there, my dear. I have a whole heap of mess over there. Anyway, guys, I am so disappointed in the ministry. I am so disappointed in the ministry. And I am asking for the Ministry of Education, to please communicate clearly with us as parents, because we need to know what your plan is. We don't decide on minor things like a little rain. We decide if we see a hurricane or whatever, we don't even wait on you guys. We do what we have to do. So we are asking that you, for those of us who are concerned parents, we are asking that you communicate with us clearly so that we do not have this confusion happening, so that I don't send my child to school and waste money. Because I'm not even too concerned about the weather, because she's accustomed to going to school in rain. I don't keep her home because of a rain, so I'm not too concerned about that. So please respect us enough to send out a timely, decisive advisory to us that shows us that you are responsible for the education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, when it occurs and when it doesn't. All right. So have a great day, guys. I'm going to get started with my daily chores. So have a great day and be safe out there. For those of you who live in flood-prone areas, the rain sometimes when it comes like this, after a while you could have little landslides, etc. Be safe, and for the drivers on the road, be safe, please, because we know that the roads are wet, and we see how prone we are to accidents. A lot of accidents have been happening lately, and so we don't want more deaths and injuries. We are already struggling, so we don't want that. So please take care of yourselves and be safe. All right, have a great day. Bye.